Imagine going down to a park in downtown LA and you see a whole bunch of kids playing basketball. I bet one of those kids out of those 10 people that's on the court is going to be trying to be the next Kobe out there, trying to make all the shots, shooting, hogging the ball, not passing to nobody on the court, and he's just wanting to dribble around everybody and make the next shot. Now, imagine going to the weight room and he's in there trying to grinding out, lift everything, trying to get to the next level and make his high school varsity basketball team. But lifting weights and running around on the court is not going to be all that he needs to get to the next level and to get to where he wants to be the next Kobe. Today I'm going to illustrate for you the uses and the benefits of the Vertimax. Now, obviously, lifting weights is very beneficial for you when it comes to training. And running around on the basketball court is also very beneficial to you. But the Vertimax is not only for basketball, it's also a multi-purpose training equipment piece that gives you the ability to use it for different sports and really maximize the potential of your working out. The platform provides a base so that the resistance bands that attach to it give you the different types of resistance in every single direction. As you can see from right here, the platform, it has multiple bands and that attach to the waist, it attaches to your hands, and it attaches to your legs as well, so that you can get the maximum potential of the resistance bands. As you move from front to back, side to side, it pulls you in every single direction so that it works the small muscles and not just the big muscles that you use when you're lifting weights and you're running around. The adjustable resistance bands provide you the ability to maximize your workout by adjusting it to your needs and your preferences. You don't really just want to always be having the most resistance every single time you work out. You want to kind of lower it and higher it depending on what activity you're doing. Otherwise, you're just going to be overworking your muscles. Now, as I said before, it's not just for one sport, it's for multiple sports. So you can use it for basketball, football, tennis, soccer, volleyball, because it really helps working the small muscles as well as the big muscles. And it's not really sport specific. It's mostly used for speed training because it helps the quick twitch muscles. And if you don't know, the quick twitch muscles help give you the explosiveness and the bounce back that you need when you're trying to accelerate and when you're trying to hit that full stride. And it improves a lot of your balance because the resistance pulls you in every direction, so when you're trying to move and you're trying to stay on balance when you're out there on the field or out there on the court, it gives you that sense of, oh, I know I've been here before because I've had way more pull than this when I've been on the Vertimax. It also helps with a lot of your rehabilitation. So if you get hurt and you're trying to bounce back from an injury, the Vertimax can help you to bounce back from that injury because the resistance bands help work those small muscles and get you back from that injury because it's working those small muscles and not just the big muscles as weightlifting does. people would just assume that, oh, I'm not going to be able to get this because it's probably going to cost too much money. But just because pro football players use it and college athletes use it doesn't mean that it's always going to be the most expensive thing. It's actually $2,000 to $3,000, but when you look at the pricing of it, it's really not that expensive if you really want to get to that next level, because when you're in the off season, you're usually spending a lot more, or either a lot more or around that much money when you're training and you're getting into those special camps and everything that you want to get into. Now this is a video from the mouse isn't working. This is a video from Ray Rice. He won. I hate this mouse. This is a video from Ray Rice. He is he's the running back for the Baltimore Ravens, and they just recently won the Super Bowl. And he's one of the spokesmen for the Vertimax.
Vertimax has helped my performance on the field. One thing that mainly sticks out to me is a lot of my position-specific drills are cut and left to right, and it's explosive training. The versatility of Vertimax allows me to get into position-specific stuff that allows me to cut, run, jump. So when you're out there in the field, you're fast as possible. Or when I do my off-platform speed training with the Vertimax machine, by having a strap around my ankle, waist, and having that resistance, with the first step, obviously you're training them up.
Now, you see that the different ways in which he's using it, and you see that it's really providing him the maximum benefits that any type of workout could give you, because it's really providing you that resistance, and that has really become one of the new highlights in exercise training. And a lot more colleges are using it, as well as pro teams. But that's not the only people that are using it, because I've been a part of a high school team and we've used it. The V8 cord and the V6 the V8 4-cord and the V6 2-cord are around $3,000 to $2,000, and it's really if you want one of these, it's really expensive, but it's really not that expensive when you look at the end result, because you really want to be the best that you can be. Thank you.
All right, Jesus, what did you think?
Well, we had I like this hypothetical start at the beginning where he explained the different, the players and stuff, and then his thesis was really good at talking. He explains the benefits of it. The citations of the Vertimax.com, he had it there. The visual with the video and everything was good with that too. I feel like he could have looked at the audience a little more. He was kind of focused on that, but it's still pretty good. The presentation was a little bit unorganized, but he still had a lot of things structured and stuff. And he seemed pretty shaky at the conclusion because he's out of time, but he did a good job rounding everything up. So he did a pretty good job.
Okay. Yeah, I like the visualization at the beginning as to the attention device. I think the subject is clear to begin with. I do think you need a clearer preview of what the structure is going to be. And in the body of the speech, it's topical, and I can see that you've got different sections, but since there wasn't a roadmap at the beginning of the speech, and sometimes the movement between the points is not as distinct as it ought to be, I think that it feels a little bit looser than it should. It should be a little bit tighter as a presentation. I thought that you had a lot of information. You describe and explain a lot of stuff about this. I'm not sure that how well researched it is, and it sounds almost, it's almost like the commercial. We're seeing it on a infomercial kind of thing, and you're the spokesperson, and the only thing that you're not doing is getting down there with Ray Rice and going through all of those kinds of things while you're doing it. And I think you'd probably be a pretty good salesman of this, but you got to get some backup information on this. For instance, you mentioned at one point how useful it might be in rehabilitation, and I thought, okay, that sounds like a good piece of information. What's the proof on this? Is there any research that showed that it works better? Is there an example of somebody? That seemed to me to be what was missing from the speech, were some specifics like that. The closest you got to an example was the video clip with Ray Rice going through the process and him giving some testimonial about this. And then you had a little bit at the end with your own experience working with the high school program, for example. And I think that we need a little bit more of that sort of thing. So if you're going to go in on a subject like this, you might as well go in with all of their examples. I'm sure there's more that they've got on their website, stories of people or testimonials or those kinds of things. And I think those would be the kinds of things that would add some interest to what you're talking about, instead of it just being a description of what the machine is supposed to do and what the claims are for it. I thought that you visualized it really nicely at the beginning. I like the fact that you put in that one picture early on so we know what it is that the equipment is, because I think most people probably wouldn't have known that if you'd asked them before the speech started, unless they watch a lot of late night TV. I imagine that's, I haven't seen that ad, so, and I'm not aware of it, but it was interesting. I thought that worked pretty well. Like I said, I thought your explanations were really solid. What was missing was just support for them. So you did a good job trying to describe what was going on. I also thought that you handled the visuals pretty well. When you had the one problem with the mouse, you just went over and used the other mouse to fix it. That was perfectly fine. That doesn't, I don't expect people to use the mouse to do the scrolling kind of thing that you're talking about. Mostly it's just for slideshows. You push the button and the slide moves. And
coming up on the screen.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't. You would, normally you wouldn't even need it for that. But once you get into that video thing, then it's you're kind of working backwards, looking over your shoulder, trying to get it to work. And if the mouse doesn't appear, or the cursor doesn't appear, that's a little bit problematic. And that's why they call it a cursor, because when it doesn't appear, that's what you do. So I thought you did a good job. I think Jesus mentioned it. You have a tendency to kind of talk to one side of the audience. You've got the screen on one side over here. That's almost like your script. And so you're kind of looking out of the corner of your eye there and then talking to this part of the audience, and you need to kind of include everybody and talk to all of us. There might be a couple of ways to do that. We'll work more on that next time. All right, thank you.